Right boys, welcome to the 25th video on my channel. What's the real difference between EFL League 2, the 4th tier of English football, and the 3rd and 4th divisions across Europe? At first glance, they all look like similar levels, but trust me, the gap is bigger and more surprising than you may think. Today we're breaking down the biggest difference between League 2 and Europe's lower leagues, and how that affects players, clubs, finances, and even fan culture. Now, first things first, let's talk about the level of professionalism. Across Europe, professionalism in the lower leagues varies wildly. Some countries, like Germany and Italy, have fully professional third tiers, but the fourth divisions often mix pro, semi-pro, and even amateur teams. But in England, every club in League 2 is professional. It might be the fourth tier, but the infrastructure looks closer to many nations' third or even second divisions. This sets a foundation that many European teams simply don't have, and it leads to the biggest difference, which we'll talk about later: financial power and stability. Here's when things get interesting. League 2 clubs benefit from something almost no other 4th tier league in Europe has: large-scale central funding from a monster of a football industry. Thanks to Premier League broadcasting deals and parachute payments filtering downwards, even League 2 receives solid broadcasting distribution, solidarity payments, commercial revenue shared across the pyramid. Now compare that to many European 4th divisions, where clubs heavily rely on local sponsors, small ticket sales, community funding, and part-time players. In countries like Spain or France, if you drop out the fully professional top 2 divisions, your finances can fall off the cliff. In England, however, you still have a financial cushion and much more stable revenue streams. This difference, money, directly affects competitiveness, facilities, and ambitions. Now let's get on to playing style and physicality. A lot of people know League 2 is known for being physical, high tempo, transition heavy, and full of intense pressing and long ball moments. But European 3rd and 4th tiers vary a lot more. Spain and Portugal, more technical, possession based. Germany's lower leagues, direct and athletic, but tactically structured. Italy's Serie C, slow, tactical, and defensive. But England's 4th tier stands out for one major reason: the athleticism and the pace are way higher than you expect for this level. You often hear foreign players say, "It felt like playing in the Championship, just with less quality on the ball." This intensity simply doesn't exist in many European lower leagues, where games can be slower, more tactical, and less physically demanding. But one of the biggest differences to notice is fan culture and matchday atmosphere. League 2 clubs often pull 3,000, 5,000, sometimes even 10,000 plus fans. You look at Bradford City last season, who averaged about 20,000 fans a game. For a 4th tier competition, that's insane. In Europe's lower divisions, however, crowds can range from maybe a few hundred to 2,000 fans on a good day, except for historically big clubs who've fallen down the league, which I guess you could say the same thing for Bradford City, who were down last season. But I think it's just that general English football culture which keeps attendances strong even for smaller clubs, which inevitably equals better atmosphere, more matchday revenue, bigger local engagement, and higher pressure and expectations. But to be honest with you, having said that, I don't think the lower leagues in Germany are too far away from the level of the English atmospheres. Like, you look at some amateur clubs in Germany, they're pulling in some serious atmospheres. But generally speaking, if you compare League 2 to the rest of Europe, you'll find some teams with better atmospheres than some top division teams in the rest of Europe. But let's get on to promotion, relegation, and general pressure. In England, League 2 is a brutally competitive division. Drop out of League 2 and you drop out the Football League. This constant threat forces clubs to invest and maintain strong squads and stay professional. In some European 3rd and 4th divisions, however, relegation is usually to amateur leagues, financially devastating, or sometimes not even possible due to regional structures. The pressure simply isn't the same. For example, in Italy's Serie C, promotion requires surviving long, complicated playoff structures. In Spain's Primera Federación, 2 teams go up automatically and the rest fight through brutal playoff rounds. And in France's National, there are only 2 promotion spots. Yes, 2, for an entire nationwide 3rd tier. So in a lot of countries, the route up is far narrower and often more chaotic. But in England, the real pressure doesn't just come from promotion, it comes from the drop. But now, the biggest difference of all is the overall strength and depth of the English football pyramid. England has the most financially powerful, competitive, and professionally structured football system in Europe, maybe the world. As already mentioned, because the Premier League creates such enormous revenue, the benefits cascade all the way down to the 4th tier. And it inevitably means better players, better coaching, better facilities, better stability, bigger crowds, and just more ambition. In many countries, the difference between top division and the 4th tier is like night and day. In England, you can go from League 2 to the Championship in just a few seasons, and clubs do it regularly. And the pyramid is connected, competitive, and alive. And that's simply the biggest difference. EFL League 2 isn't just any other 4th tier league. It's a unique product of the most competitive football system in the world. So next time you watch a League 2 football match, remember, you're not just seeing lower league football, you're seeing the strength of an entire football ecosystem. God, that was painful. But anyway, yeah, boys, I'm going to end the video there. I do hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what sort of videos you want to see next. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, see you in the next one.